Welcome, everyone, to the HTL Challenger Series chase. 4 races remain to crown a champion here in the HTL Challenger Series. We are glad you're with us. It's almost showtime from the Brickyard. 75 laps. Chase begins here. Glad you're with us for HTL and ABN Tuesday. Coming up next. $75 laps for everyone here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Gonna be an interesting race. Everyone getting geared up here on ABN's anniversary week. But we are so glad you're with us for what should be a pretty fun event tonight. 12 drivers begin their conversation for the championship as the chase begins. This is what it looks like entering the Brickyard 300 tonight. All 12 marked in gold for a reason. They are one of 12 bound for that title. Josh Susie, Christina Ryan, Dustin Hall, Eli Sasek, Kevin Gibney Jr., June Jimenez, Brady Smith, Blue Jade, Davis Buell Jr., Alfred Denny, Blake Henderson, and Byron Jones, your top 12 that will battle for the championship here tonight. Kevin Gibney Jr., 2 wins in a row at Talladega and Darlington a week ago to punch his ticket in. He needed to do everything in his power, and he got everything he needed from those last 2 races. He does enter with the most momentum, though, of the field tonight, having those 2 wins going into the chase. He's sitting 5th in points going in off the reset, so not a bad place to be with 4 races to go. Indianapolis, Nashville, Michigan, Miami. The last 4 races of the Challenger Series campaign here tonight. Those that just missed out: Dakota Osborne, Josh Gaiman, Wesley Worley, Casey Ellis, Ryan Moutre, Bobby Blowers, John Matthews, Mark Parkhurst, Bailey Thompson, Tristan Baer, Spencer Teal, and DJ Anderson missing out on being able to jump in to the chase here. Some of them part-time, some of them full-time, but they will instead be looking to play spoiler these next 4 races. And then further down the order: Marcus Chafin, Bren Roberts, Bryce Sosier, Stephen Oberstadt. One-off entries for the most part here: Del Markowski, Nicholas Budimlich, Gary Donaldson, Zach Apperson, and yours truly doing a race this season. 33 cars, 33 entries with points going into this race in Indianapolis. But those top 12 will battle for the championship here tonight. We talked about him. He's the hottest driver going into this race for a specific reason. Kevin Gibney Jr. has been a rocket ship these last couple of weeks. A win in Talladega to break a 4-year winless drought. Then for the first time in his career, winning back-to-back races, winning in Darlington a week ago. We didn't get to talk to him in Darlington because we were on track in Darlington. Going into the chase, 5th place in points. A pretty good jump forward here. Hottest momentum in the series. Kevin, this is coming from the ABN booth. How are we feeling going into the Brickyard tonight? Four races. It is a gauntlet here in this chase. Indianapolis, Nashville Super Speedway, Michigan, and then Homestead, Miami to end out the season. These are tracks that Gibney Racing Division has notoriously been good at over the years, whether it's been in Cup or in the Challenger Series campaign. Does that bode well for you? Obviously, you're the hottest car for the team. We talked about it, we previewed it earlier today on Patreon. Your teammate Josh Susi, obviously regular season champion, hasn't had a hot streak in over a month here. It's sort of been a 31 camp. Is the vibe that you have a chance to legitimately go and challenge the likes of your teammate Josh Susi and Christina Ryan and Eli Sasek that were consistent, but maybe didn't have the wins to stack up there? You've run 20 laps in practice so far, qualifying not far away. How are you feeling going into qualifying, and what's that 31 truck feeling like right now? A pretty good field size tonight. 18 trucks ready to go racing tonight. Some playing spoilers, some going for the championship. Kevin Gibney Jr. going to battle for that championship the next 4 races. Good luck tonight, and hopefully we get to talk to you like we did in Talladega 2 weeks ago. That was Kevin Gibney Jr., who is on the pit lane at the moment. That's live pictures right now for Kevin Gibney Jr., as he will go and debrief with his team before qualifying begins here momentarily. Was hoping to speak with more of our podium finishers from last week's race in Darlington. Qualifying underway. We may still have a chance to talk to maybe one more from the race in Darlington. Mark Parkhurst, Brady Smith were the other podium finishers from a week ago. But that being said, qualifying is underway. So let's go ahead and jump into it here. First car on the racetrack, filling in for John Matthews, is Bobby Blowers, and he's in the 5 car tonight. So we'll have to see if we can update that, because if we pull up the driver profile, not the information we had available. So we'll work on that for a second. Bobby Blowers on the racetrack at the moment, getting ready to start a qualifying lap as we hopefully reset the paints and find the right paint for Bobby Blowers tonight. We'll talk to Mark Parkhurst, who finished 2nd in Darlington a week ago, in just a couple moments. I believe he is getting ready to jump on the racetrack here. Mark Parkhurst about to qualify. We'll see if we can go ahead and talk to him now. Mark Parkhurst, 2nd place from Darlington a week ago. Not in the championship conversation, but looking to play spoiler. Good pace and momentum from Darlington last week. Another challenging racetrack tonight. Mark, how are we feeling tonight? You see, exiting the racetrack now, the 32 car, you've not been a full-time competitor this season. You've just sort of jumped in and done what you could. It's been difficult. There's been some bad luck. Getting back in and sort of getting acclimatized to HTL has been a bit of a journey. What's it been like for you as far as being able to climb forward and make that progress happen? We've seen the flashes of pace. We know the 32 has had it. But what has it been like just trying to knock the rust off and jump back in like this? Qualifying underway here for you, Mark. Obviously, a phenomenal job in Darlington last week. I know you're sort of filling it out still, but how's that truck feeling right now? Everyone's got a little bit of a challenge here with the wind speeds as they are right now. They've been over 10 mile an hour the entire time. Well, we will see how you stack up here. Everyone now beginning to start qualifying runs. They're waiting a little bit to see how the initial runs looked here. We will let you sort of recalibrate and get everything settled in before this race starts. But Mark, obviously a fantastic job in Darlington last week. If you want to shout and say thank you to the floor, is yours. Not a bad idea. 5 minutes and change to go until qualifying ends, and then warm up after that to get everything dialed in one last chance. Mark Parker is going to be in the field tonight. We'll see where he stacks up in qualifying in a few minutes, but optimism is a good start. Mark, congratulations on Darlington, and hopefully we'll talk to you again tonight. That was Mark Parkhurst, who we saw set his qualifying time. 7th fastest is Mark Parkhurst right now. Several drivers waiting to make qualifying runs, including the former ABN World Champion, 6-time most popular driver, Christina Ryan, Davis Mills Jr., and Bailey Thompson, all on pit lane waiting to make their runs as well. And this gives us a chance to reset and get things ready to go on our end here. We want to go ahead and shout out ABN on Patreon. Started it last year, really started putting a lot of effort into it this year. We have a lot of Premier Tier subs, a lot of Plus Tier subs as well. A lot of extra content coming up here for our anniversary week. A lot of things planned for August and September. So everyone that supported us on Patreon, thank you all so much for your support. Our Premier Tier patrons, we have to read them out loud for our broadcast here every week. Trade Up Slogan, Dogman2935, Eli Sassick, Jason Scott, Alfred Denny, Weekend Hobby 22, Philip Snipes, Tyler Head, B-Dogs, Colin McDonough, Blue, KJ Gibney, J-Paw, Jake Potak, and June. Thank you all for your support on the Premier Tier for Patreon. If you're in the Plus Tier, your name is also on the screen at the bottom for all of our broadcasts here. So you'll see that mixed in amongst the news from around the ABN sphere. We appreciate all the support you've been giving us so far here in 2026, our 8-year anniversary on Sunday. Right now we're working on fixing the number situation since Bobby Blowers is in the 5 and not the 98 tonight. So bear with us for 1 second. I'm getting all that stuff lined up here. Takes a couple minutes to actually carry over everything. See Christina Ryan getting ready to roll, which means it is almost showtime here. We're about to see some interesting lap times filter in here. Christina Ryan second in the regular season standings behind Josh Soucy, and just about everyone now on the racetrack here. 8 cars ran qualifying laps earlier. The next 10 all on the racetrack within 10 seconds of each other now. So this will be a frenzy for the qualifying run. Drivers beginning laps now across the yard of bricks. Right now, Eli Sasek and Byron Jones, your front row. Will either of them be able to stay there? That is the question that they are asking themselves as we watch these laps unfold. Billy Thompson goes third, not good enough for the front row. Christina Ryan in the mix here. Can she go front of the field? A lot of success here at the Brickyard. Gaiman goes top of the board. Who joins him? Christina Ryan to the yard of bricks. Car 80. 54.001. Seventh fastest. Dustin Hall goes faster. Josh Soucy, second place, 53.6. Dustin Hall, and it's not by much. I think that is milliseconds. 53.693. Yeah, 3 milliseconds between Soucy and Dustin Hall at the front of the board. June Jimenez, 53.7, not far away either. And it's Dustin Hall who ends out qualifying on pole position here at the Brickyard as kick off the chase for the Challenger Series Championship. That is outstanding. Warm-up now begins. We're just recalibrating, getting everything ready to go on our end, so bear with us for just a moment. We got to do all of our social media promotion as well, so it's a one-person crew up here. All right. Got supporters for Christina Ryan and June Jimenez tonight on the racetrack. Again, a reminder where things are at entering this race. Your top 12 marked in gold, battling for the championship across the next 4 weeks. Josh Susie, as the regular season champion, enters as the points leader. Everyone else playing catch-up. Everyone practicing pit entries. Huge shout out to Anderson Graphics, premier partner of the HTL Cup Series and Challenger Series. NASCAR quality paints without NASCAR quality pricing. Whether you're looking good winning real life in ARCA, or you're looking good on iRacing in Cup, Trucks, Xfinity, or ARCA, Anderson Graphics got you covered. Glad they're on board and glad we're ready to go racing here at the Brickyard. 75 laps, stage break not included here because there are no stage cautions. There is a stage, though, lap 35. The top 10 score points based off of position in that lap. So, every point counts. Talked about it, Josh Susie, fastest here in warm-up, starts outside the front row. Not considered the favorite right now. Had a hot start this season, hasn't won since Kentucky back on June 16th. Hasn't had a top 5 since Kansas a full month ago. It's been a rough month for Josh Susie that he's trying to shake off here. Starting second's usually a good place to be, but this track's also not been super kind to him either in his HTL career. So we'll see if that changes. Taylor Thompson missed out on the race last night in Austin, Texas. On the racetrack here tonight. Getting everything ready to go in that 27 truck for Tombstone Motorsports. Malachi Tracy, his Challenger Series debut. He debuted 8 days ago in HTL in Talladega for the HTL Cup Series in place of Casey Ellis. Casey Ellis using Malachi Tracy as a substitute here as well. For those newer to ABN screens, we have broadcasted with Malachi Tracy in it before the VRR Super Cup. Sorry, the VRR GT Tour was what it was with the V8 Supercars. He was a part of in that. More of an oval driver. He'll be the first to admit that. Was one of the fastest in practice here at the Brickyard to get things ready to go. Warm-up is over, and 75 laps awaits the 18 drivers here in the HTL Challenger Series Brickyard 300. Your starting grid looks like this. Dustin Hall and Josh Susie, front of the field. Dustin Hall in pole position once again, alongside the regular season champion, former two-time champion Josh Susie here tonight. June Jimenez, two-time race winner this season, alongside North Wilkesboro's race winner Josh Gaiman in row 2. There's a guaranteed Gibney Racing Division car in all 3 of the top 3 rows. Davis Moore Jr., the third of that group, alongside Eli Sasek. They'll make up row 3 tonight. Row 4, Byron Jones for Orlando Outlaws Esports, alongside Bailey Thompson, looking at 8th place on the starting grid here. Christina Ryan qualified 9th alongside Alfred Denny for Tombstone Motorsports. He'll qualify in 10th position here. Zach Apperson, 11th. At the Brickyard on this starting grid alongside two-time podium finisher this season, Blue Jade. Blake Henderson and Bobby Flowers in row number 7. Flowers in the number 5, Henderson in the 25. Henderson has won this race in the Cup Series. Can he win it in the trucks? He's got to go from 13th on the grid. Malachi Tracy, Kevin Gibney Jr., they are further down the order than they'd like to be. 15th and 16th on the grid. Your last row is where you'll find Mark Parkhurst and Wesley Worley tonight. Worley did not set a qualifying time. Mark Parkhurst will join him on that back row with a lot of work to do to try to play spoiler tonight like he did in Darlington a week ago. And a reminder to everyone watching along, exclusive content available every week on Patreon/ABN Studios or the QR code on your screen. We are so glad you're with us for what should be a very fun race tonight here from this 2.5-mile oval. A hallmark venue, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, opened in 1909, the first Indianapolis 500 in 1911. It has since hosted just about everything under the sun: motorcycle races, sports cars, stock cars, open wheel. It now has a dirt track in it that hosts race every summer. The Brickyard is hollowed ground, regardless of what discipline you race in. Dustin Hall, Josh Soucy, they know that all too well. They'd love a win here. And they lead us to green. 75 laps, 300 kilometers. It's time to get ready to go racing. And they're going to add a lap here. 4 formation laps. Two different colors on the tower that you see on the side of your screen. Those marked in the goldish green color, they are in the chase for the Challenger Series Championship. Those marked in red are not. All drivers battling for a championship tonight. Again, for everyone jumping in, we're glad you're with us here for HTL on ABN Tuesdays. I'm Carmen Sienna, here to bring you lights to flag action, whether you're watching on Patreon or on YouTube. It's been a show all season long, from Daytona to Darlington in the regular season. The next 4 races will be lightning in a bottle: Indianapolis, Nashville, Michigan, Miami. The 4 races to end out this competition this season. ABN's 8th anniversary on Sunday. And there's no place you'd rather be than the track that began everything for us, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The first time stock cars raced at the Brickyard was 1994. 32 years later, it's tradition we still carry. It will not be for the faint heart. Wind speeds have died down a little bit, but the track temperature has only increased to 129 degrees, the track temperature. Scorching track will tear these tires apart, and the drivers know it. The pace truck is in, and the 18 drivers of the HTL Challenger Series are run. Hey, we're racing at the Brickyard. First lap in the books here at the Brickyard. Dustin Hall leads June Jimenez up into the second spot. Ahead of Josh Soucy. Josh Gaiman stays in fourth, but under a pressure from Eli Sasek. Only two non-chase drivers in the top 10 after the opening lap. Josh Gaiman and Bailey Thompson, 4th and 8th, respectively. Kevin Gibney Jr., the lowest of the 12 chase drivers, in 17th, trying to take it easy. But we talked to him before this race. He said he wasn't sure how this car was going to feel tonight. This truck, very difficult to wield around this 2.5-mile rectangle. Trouble further back. Wesley Worley in the fence. Tag of the fence there out of turn 4, but he keeps it going. We stay green. No caution. .715 horsepower in these trucks. They will get above 192 miles an hour. Eli Sasek to the inside of Davis Muir Jr., the two chase drivers duking it out for fourth. Sorry, that's Josh Gaiman in that battle for fourth. Davis Muir Jr. just behind this battle in that 6th position. Davis Muir Jr. in that new look, that U-Haul number 10. We'll see as it goes by. He's running ahead of Byron Jones at the moment. Blake Henderson battling with Christina Ryan. Henderson was up 4 spots prior to this lap. Little tag in the fence there by Henderson, and he'll lose a spot to Christina Ryan, who has finished runner-up or won multiple races here at the Brickyard. Runner-up in the Arrowhead 500. She's won the Brickyard 400 on 2 occasions. She would like to add a truck race win to her resume. There's a lot of really good trucks in the way. Dustin Hall clear of June Jimenez by almost a second now. Josh Soucy applying pressure. Seven of the 10 races won this season are in the top 4. One by Dustin Hall, one by June Jimenez. Or sorry, 2 by June Jimenez, 3 by Josh Soucy, 1 by Josh Gaiman. Christina Ryan won at Atlanta. Kevin Gibney Jr., as we mentioned at the top of the show, winning the last 2 races at Talladega and Darlington to get into the chase. Jimenez, I think, doing a little bit of tire saving at the moment, and I don't think Josh Soucy objects to that too awful much. Whether or not Josh Gaiman does is a different question. Running on board here with Gaiman. Gaiman right behind his teammate there for Gibney Racing Division. That's Josh Soucy in the 81. Gaiman in the 61. Here's Smooth Jr. in the 10, right there in 5th. And he's looking back at it and seeing Byron Jones now haggling with the 9 of Sasek into turns 3 and 4. Large venue, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, full capacity, almost 400,000 fans. By attendance volume, it is the largest venue on the planet for any sporting event. Clears the Sydney Opera House by almost double. Wesley Worley is in pit lane right now. After that damage on the opening lap. Dustin Hall leads, and he's continuing to open a gap here, very reminiscent of what we saw in Las Vegas earlier this season. Dustin Hall would run out, and everyone would reel him back in. Dustin Hall, not a tire saver at all, and you need that a little bit with the temperatures as hot as they are. 129 degrees was the track temp at the start of this race. It's going down a little bit, though, 127. And so what that means here, with the wind speed also dropping, is that the trucks should begin to feel a little bit better as this race goes along, if that temperature continues to fall. If you get that temperature down to about 110, 105 degrees, it'll feel like a night and day difference. And not having the crazy wind speed that we typically see here at the Brickyard also makes things a little bit easier for just about everybody. 1.6 seconds between Hall and Jimenez, with Susi in third, Gaiman in fourth. Susi looks to the inside of Jimenez. He's thinking we've lost a little bit too much time, and it's time to close the gap back up a little bit. Jimenez, though, will keep the second spot, use the outside lane to defend. Jimenez controlling the pace for those saving tires at the moment. We'll try to reel Dustin Hall back in as this race goes along. Caution is out. It's for Bailey Thompson, who's come to a sliding stop on the apex of turn 4. And I have a feeling this started in turn 3. A lot of damage on the 27. Bailey's trying to feel out the suspension pieces. See how much damage there is underneath the car. So our first caution tonight on lap 9. Coming to lap 10. And let's take a look as to why. Racing side by side with Byron Jones. And Bailey just gets loose. There's Henderson and Ryan just behind. And Bailey just gets really, really loose. It overcorrects. Is there a tag at the fence? No tag at the fence. So Bailey does a really good job of keeping that truck away from harm's way, and everyone else behind doing a great job of not T-boning the 27 mid-slide there. It's not easy to change lanes here at the Brickyard, especially mid-corner. So to be able to avoid and give space for that is a pretty big deal for everybody. That being said, I do want to ride on board here with Bailey Thompson. Just loses the air on the side of that truck. Gets it back down to first gear. Not bad. I want to see this from Henderson's perspective because he couldn't see much of anything right there. It's the scariest feeling in the world when you see the truck pivot back to the right and you're in the path. It becomes very difficult. But pit stop's underway for the first time, and everyone down pit lane this go around. Wesley Worley on the racetrack. We get a lap back. Free pass as the only car off the lead lap. And Christina Ryan's going to win that race off pit lane. There you go. 2-tire stop for the 80. 4 tires for most of the field, except for Thompson, who took fuel only. So the former ABN World Champion will inherit the front of the field here. See Wesley Worley behind the pace car. Now 5 laps down after repairing some of the damage from earlier on in this race. Kevin Gibney Jr. still on pit lane, just now leaving his box. Tagged the fence as part of the traffic and the accordion earlier on in this race, getting some that damage repaired. Spent a little over a minute and 30 seconds on pit lane to get that work done. Thankfully, this track's pretty large, 2.5 miles. A pace lap here is over 2 minutes. So if you need time to repair damage or to reset and take care of a technical issue, you have a lot of time here. Pace speed 65 miles an hour. And there goes Worley to get that lap back. And he'll join at the tail end of this field. All 18 trucks still rolling on the racetrack after our first caution of the race for Bailey Thompson coming to a sliding stop in turn 4. No contact with Byron Jones or anybody else. And Thompson will restart this race in 10th. But it will be all eyes, front of the field, the friends and former teammates, Christina Ryan and Dustin Hall, the pole sitter in the number 1, will now have to deal with a little bit of traffic and a little bit of pressure from Jimenez and Susi, who sit in row 2, Gaiman and Smeal in row 3, Sasek and Jones, row 4, Blowers and Thompson, row 5. Feel the anticipation begin to rise once again. 3 cars not in the chase in the top 10, with Blowers now joining the fray. Everyone mixed up and jumbled up a little bit on that pit stop cycle. Remember, stage ends on lap 35. That's where the points are offered for the first time tonight. Christina Ryan, second place in the regular season, looking for a second race win to add to Atlanta. Through the restart zone we go. All 18 trucks are here. We're underway. We're back racing at the Brickyard. And it's a really good launch for Ryan. Not so much for Dustin Hall, who was going to try to stay on the outside lane and stay clear of Josh Susi through turns 1 and 2. We'll see how that pans out. A little bit of latency. That's Blowers in the 5. Trying to find his way around David Smeal Jr. And Christina Ryan will give slipstream, will give draft to Dustin Hall to stay clear of the 81. It benefits both of them to be in that situation, and they are. Jimenez, a little bit of a checkup there for 5th on back. Sasek going to try to make a pass for that 5th spot now. Toyota's battling for that 5th spot ahead of Davis Smeal Jr., who's lost a couple spots on this restart. And Dustin Hall, 4 fresh tires versus 2. He's looking for the front again. How much does the 80 of Ryan battle that one of Dustin Hall for the lead this early, with Smeal not far away and Susi and Gaiman right there? Chevy versus Dodge. At the front of the field here, Dustin Hall a little loose. Susi behind Ryan. Gaiman behind Ryan. And that was what Dustin Hall didn't need. He'll lose 2 spots, if not 3, because there's Sasek. Christina Ryan now under threat from the 81 of Susi. And they are duking it out here. You saw the tail slaps. These trucks are so aero-sensitive, especially when you're side by side, and it hurts everybody. Almost contact there between the 80 and the 81. Close quarters the way you'd like to see it. Trouble Thompson. Is that a yellow? It might be. It is not a yellow. Green flag still out for Thompson, whose race will end at 15 laps. We stay green. Drivers on the radio questioning why there wasn't a caution thrown. That was in the pack. But we do stay green. Susie gets around Ryan. Here comes Gaiman. Susie out in front. Gaiman to second. Ryan in third. Hall fourth. Sasek fifth. Not through lack of trying. Christina Ryan trying to find a hole into turn one. Runs a little wide. Trying to pressure Josh Gaiman. Very familiar foes. The 80 and the 61. Especially over the last 5 years. Whether it's been in ARCS, in ABN, in HTL. They've duked it out quite a bit. Ryan gets passed by Dustin Hall, who slides up in front. And now everyone's ganging up against Eli Sasek. Jimenez gets back through. The top two for Gibney Racing Division have tried to check out a little bit as everyone battles further back. Now we've got Ryan and Jimenez battling for position here. Line a little bit of a wobble once again, a little loose. Also loose, Blue Jade. You saw her shoot to the white line. Had to slot in line behind Mark Parkhurst. Bailey Thompson's day is done. Wesley Worley will try to catch up and grab those laps and grab that position away. But Thompson's day ends early. Battle for position further back. Smeal and Henderson for 8th. Alfred Denny in the mix in the 21. And then Blowers in the 5. Christina Ryan falling backwards quickly. That two-tire strategy call was not it. And we're seeing that right now in full force. From the lead of the race, now out of the top 5, down to the 7th position. Goes truck number 80. Front of the field, it is Josh Susie, Josh Gaiman, and now Dustin Hall in pursuit. Jimenez will try to follow suit and try to close in. Ahead of Eli Sasek, who sits in 5th. Everyone's still duking it out for position. A little bit of contact that time between Ryan and Smeal. Christina Ryan tags the fence just a little bit. Ryan on the radio immediately, not happy with the number 10. Not the first time. Won't be the last. Now Blowers in tow. And they still sit side by side behind them. Jade and Denny, Gibney and Parkhurst, Tracy in this mix as well. Just off the pace there is Zach Apperson. Hanging back, it feels like almost intentionally because he's expecting something to happen. Lost the draft initially because of Thompson in that crash. Dustin Hall has gained and grabbed into this lead conversation here on lap 20, coming to 21. These drivers will look at it as a race of thirds. Lap 25, lap 50, and then the finish on lap 75. That's how they'll break it down mentally. Jimenez has dropped a couple spots. Now behind Byron Jones. Jones up to 5th, Sasek in 4th. And your chase drivers, minus Josh Gaiman, are 8 of the top 9. A lot of battles here. It's now single file, everyone trying to settle into a rhythm here following that opening caution on lap 9. Traditionally, it's been a one caution affair. Darlington, a week ago, broke that. We had 3 cautions last week. We were caution-free at Talladega the week before that. We've been averaging a caution a race, and we've had it here. Do we go caution-free all the rest of the way? In this battle for the race lead, Susie just trying to maintain control of this race. That's where he's the best right now, and he needs to be here. As I mentioned, he's had a bad month going into the chase here. He is chasing that truck around, though. It is not easy for him. Let's see if we can ride on board. If we have a helmet cam. That is not quite it, but we'll see if we can look at the hands at least for Josh Susie here. How much does he saw at the wheel? A little bit through one. Usually the smoother you are in your steering inputs, the more comfortable you are. That little piece of red tape is the center line of the steering wheel. That gives you a good indication as to how much he saw in that wheel away. You're seeing how he's has to saw the wheel back and forth. That 81 truck is dancing around quite a bit. Spends a lot of time steering to the right out of turn 4. And here comes Dustin Hall, challenging for the second spot. Pretty close in the turn 1. Here we go through turn 2. Game is just going to try to defend this. And I feel like it's just going to be an easier pass to make in 3 and 4. But Dustin Hall knows he's got pace to challenge the 81 truck. He just needs to get rid of the obstructions. And right now, Josh Gaiman, a non-chase driver, has been mentally noted down as nothing more than an obstruction for Dustin Hall. As I mentioned, it would be easier through 3 and 4 to make that pass happen, and that's where the pass gets cleared. Dustin Hall to second place out of 4. Now, why is that? Why is it easier to make a pass on one side of the racetrack than the other? The corners are symmetrical. The issue is the wind speed. And not so much the speed, but the direction. This track is built north-south. This is the south end of the racetrack. Turns 3 and 4 are the north end. It is easier right now to drive through turns 1 and 2 because it's a headwind into turn 1. You're being turned into the corner in turns 1 and 2. And you're being pushed out of the corner out of turn 2. So you have that wind speed. It becomes a tailwind out of turn 2. That's great until you need to turn in for turn 3, in which case the wind grabs the front of the truck and tries to shoot it out towards the wall. It tries to force a little bit of tightness, a little bit of understeer. And that gives you the better opportunity to make passes happen. Because if you can predict it and you can play to it, and you can force your opponent to just sort of drift out a little bit wide, you can over-under typically is how that typically plays out. But for Dustin Hall, he opened that gap up in 1 and 2 and just had to hold it into 3 and 4 because Gaiman couldn't turn down on him in 3 and 4 anyway. But it's a lot easier to just initiate that pass in 3 and 4, save yourself a lap of time, and just get it done in 2 corners instead of having to wait an entire lap and go side by side and lose a second in the process that he's now got to gain again. So there's a big mental process to that. Hall was just thinking, get around him. But he wasn't thinking enough to be like, let me game this and figure this out and try to get him into turn 3. And thankfully, he's got enough time right now to make up for that. You cannot make that mistake later on in the race. Because you can tell right now the gap has not really shrunk that much. It's taken him 2 laps to grab a 10th back. And he's in the draft. That's a lot of time that you have to now try to chip away again. It costs you legitimate time on the racetrack. It is material that you lose that time in a battle, especially the longer it goes. 2 corners, you lose maybe 4 tenths. Great, awesome. Make that back up in 4 laps. You're great. But you cost yourself a full lap, and it puts you over a second behind. It becomes a lot more difficult. And now you see Josh Gaiman, now that he's been passed by one, he'll be passed by others too. And Sasek is going to try to clear. And Gaiman will try to be a pain in his side and hold on to that outside groove. And I think Sasek's going to try to clear him. And he just barely does. Just barely does. But now they're 2 seconds behind Dustin Hall. So they've already lost time too, because it took them half a lap to get around and they passed on the wrong side of the racetrack. You got to think about that, and you've got to feel it. It's something that you can feel in the car. You can feel that resistance into turn 3. You can feel the resistance out of turn 2. And you have to play to it. In this battle between Jimenez and Henderson. Igniting here for the 6th position. Davis Muir Jr. also in tow. See how Byron Jones got around Josh Gaiman just up the road there and was able to stay right to the bumper of Eli Sasek. Didn't lose time because he made the pass in 3 and 4. He followed the natural progression of the racetrack and just kept with the 9 car. Had he done it in turn 1 and 2, he would have lost time there. And instead, keep himself pointing in the right direction. Super important. Super important to get that part right. Flowers down pit lane. With 5 to go in the stage, the 5 truck is in. Dustin Hall losing time once again. Whoa, huge contact with the fence. Josh Gaiman. Huge damage. He hits the inside wall as well and comes to a stop. out of the exit of turn 2, and that is day done for Josh Gaiman. Flowers on pit lane for a pit stop. He is leaving pit lane now. Wesley Worley coming down pit lane for a pit stop here. Gaiman's crash knocks him out of the race. And that's one of the 4 GRD cars now out here at Indianapolis with 4 to go in stage 1. Byron Jones still harassing Eli Sasek for 3rd. Jimenez, Henderson, and Smeal closing in, though. Out of pit lane and staying on the lead lap, Bobby Blowers. Going to use the undercut strategy here to try to grab some positions and close in the top 10. A second and more between Susie and Hall. Hall comes down pit lane this time. He will give up second. He's thinking big picture. He wants the race lead. Tires at Clift. And here we go. Everyone trying to stay out to get to the end of the stage on lap 35. Some pitting early. We'll see how this pans out. Jimenez is closed in. So is Henderson. They have left Smeal behind a little bit. This battle for second. Susie ahead by 3.5 seconds right now. Looking for some extra 10 points in this stage. White flag coming to stage 1. Josh Susie's going to grab the stage win, I think, pretty handily here. And grab some 10 stage points. Susie, Sasek, Jones, Jimenez, Henderson, top 5. Smeal 6th. Ryan, Denny, Jay, all with very necessary stage points here. Sasek comes down pit lane this time. Got those 9 stage points and now bounces down pit lane as Susie stays out. Jones, Jimenez, and Henderson also stay out. Sasek pits alone. Dustin Hall, fastest man on the racetrack right now. 53.6. His last lap. Sasek not even to his box yet. Now he's to his box. And he messed up his pit stall. He messed up his pit box. This will cost him dearly. That will cost him so much time. That cost him about 25 seconds, missing his pit box like that. That's devastating for Eli Sasek. His actual pit stop time, 14.9, but his actual pit lane time, a full minute. Cost him about 15 seconds on the nose. He's going to go a lap down to Josh Sousa here. Jimenez is up to second. Henderson up to third around Byron Jones. And the cycling has begun. They now should probably come down pit lane. They're trying to get to the halfway point. To avoid making another pit stop, but they need to come down now to stay ahead of Sasek here. I don't think you can make it on one more stop. I think you need two. Dustin Hall made that pretty clear. Blowers made it pretty clear. Sasek's made it clear that you need two. Because you got to get to lap 45. To even have a chance, you have to get to 45. And even then, I don't think you can make it from there. I think Dustin Hall, Bobby Blowers, and Eli Sasek had the right idea. Jimenez has cleared Henderson by a second. Trying to reel back in Josh Sousa. I heard a very familiar note, and I went right on board with the 81. Humor me for a second. Josh Sousa. Listen for a cutout. Listen for the engine to cut out. Right there. Right now, he can't make it to 45. See how much he does it again in the turn one. He is clutching and coasting the best that he can. Malachi Tracy is down pit lane this time in the 35. He can't make it to 45. Realistically, so reason why I say 45 is like your first window to have a chance on one stop. They pit on lap 10. Everyone took fuel at least. Some took two. Most took 4 tires on that exchange. To get to 45, that's a 35 lap window. And you have to get to 45 because you save fuel under caution. We've only had the one. So you need to offset the laps run under caution by running longer. Which is why you need to run 45. A lap under caution is worth 2 laps under green as far as fuel is concerned. That's what you can save. You can save 2 laps for green flag racing with a lap under caution. Susie, if he is clutching and coasting the way he is not comfortable that he can make it to 45. And that's a problem. That's a problem for everybody. And so everyone that came down on a two-stop strategy here, Dustin Hall, Bobby Blowers, Eli Sasek, Malachi Tracy now on that group, they're running full speed to the end, and here Susie couldn't make it to 45. That is a big sign. If Susie can't make it, you're kind of doomed. Smeal comes in too. Jimenez, 2 race wins, both of them fuel-save races. See if it changes. Also, flushing and coasting is the 11. Again, you got to get to 45 to have a chance. If you can't get to 45, you're not going to make it on fuel. Because remember, if you make it to 45, you still have to save. You still have to save fuel to be safely into the end. The two-stop calls are not saving. They're pushing. It's full push to the end of the race. I like where Dustin Hall is at. The two-stop strategy oftentimes has not worked. It is right now, I think, the best place to be. Jimenez, Henderson, Jones, they all come down pit lane this time. Ryan comes down pit lane this time. And you're looking at a lot of trucks right now that are either going to need to splash and dash or are going to run out before this race is over. Apperson goes longer. He'll lead a lap here at the Brickyard. And there's Dustin Hall. They've not even got to their box yet, and he's going to be half a lap ahead of them. He's got to pit again, but remember, he is full push. Him and Sasek and Blowers and Tracy, they are full push. So Dustin Hall, on the two-stop strategy to get to the end of the race, leads the way. Once Apperson comes down pit lane, which he is in pit lane, there he is right now. He'll lead Blowers by 10 seconds. There's Dustin Hall. There's Bobby Blowers. There's Sasek. And then Josh Susie in 4th. There's Jimenez. And then Henderson in 6th. Byron Jones in 7th. Davis Moon Jr. in 8th. Malachi Tracy up to 9th. Christina Ryan in 10th. I think the two-stop call that the leaders are on right now, I like where they're at. Put on 55 and let it rip. I like where they're at. I really do. I haven't quite liked it before. I like it now. A lap around here at 55 seconds. For Hall, that goes down to where Byron Jones is at right now. Dustin Hall could hit right now and still be top 10. And have a pretty decent chance. I love where he's at right now. He's at the fastest lap of the race. It should not be a surprise. The 3 fastest laps of the race are Hall, Sasek, and Blowers. It should not surprise anybody. Meeting of the minds here at the Brickyard with less than 30 laps to go. Chase drivers all over this top 10. Bobby Blowers trying to play spoiler. Malachi Tracy trying to play spoiler. Dustin Hall is setting sail right now. Susie's going to close in. He's got fresher tires. But he's got to deal with Sasek and Flowers first. He's actually got to get around them. And there's no incentive for Flowers and Sasek to let him through. Battle for fifth is raging on here. Jones in the 24, Henderson in the 25, Jimenez in the 11. All in the mix. We're approaching the last 25 laps of this race. There'll be 26 to go now. So let's work through the field. With Dustin Hall, we'll begin with him. Pit stops not far away for the second time for the number one, who started this race on pole position. Not often he's been on the right side of the strategy game, but he might be tonight. If he makes a pit stop here on lap 55, as we're expecting, it's going to give him 20 laps to chase down the field, trying to make it on a fuel-safe strategy. Bobby Blowers started this race 14th on the grid, filling in on the number 5 machine tonight. Not in the chase, looking to play spoiler. He's got 11 seconds to Dustin Hall. He's not in a favorable position in any way, shape, or form. But the strategy he's on right now gives him at least a chance to get to the podium. But he's got to play his cards right. And these next 25 laps will be super important for that. Eli Sasek started this race 6th, up to 3rd at the moment. He's been super consistent, just not been flashy, not been notable in the number 9 machine. Trying to change that here at the Brickyard, a track that has typically been an Achilles heel for him. So far, it's been calm and kind to the Michigan native. Can he hold on and potentially get a good result out of this? We'll see. Right now, it's looking good, but strategy still needs to play out. And the guy leading the alternate strategy just behind him, Josh Susie, the regular season champion through the first 10 races, won stage 1, came down pit lane after grabbing those 10 stage points, and now sits at the front of the field with traffic up ahead that will not make his life easy. Started this race on the front row and is trying to get one spot better than he started. It will be an uphill climb, and it is definitely not a guaranteed thing for him right now. Blake Henderson slowly reeling in the 81. His truck is on fire at the moment from the pressure of the 24 and the 11. Did not feel good going into this race. The top 5 might turn that front upside down for the 25 truck in Indianapolis. A former winner of the HTL Brickyard 400. Henderson, another good result here Will give him pretty good vibes going into Monday's race as well, the HTL Cup Series race here on the 27th. Byron Jones, not quite the 8 spots gained compared to Blake Henderson, but positive compared to where he started. He started this race 7th, up to 6th. Cup Series has been feast or famine for him. He had a good result last night in Austin, Texas. Trying to back that up with another good result here in Indianapolis. Dustin Hall down pit lane, and the smoke was lockup. He made it without speeding and came down pit lane a couple laps earlier. I don't fault him for it. Cut it a little bit close, but down pit lane he comes. Is this a 4-tire stop or a 2-tire stop? It's going to be a 4-tire stop, it looks like. There we go. So 14 seconds in the box. 14-7. And out and away he goes. Flowers comes down pit lane. Sasek did not battle Susie too awful hard. I'm surprised by that. Flowers is in. And Sasek now sitting in second. He's trying to use the slipstream from the 81. He wants to leapfrog the 5 here. Sasek not going to be far away from making a pit stop here for the last time. Dustin Hall, a little bit further back than I thought he would be here on this exchange. 14th place, 13th now. Not how I thought it would be. But I guess it makes sense if you're losing time to Susie here. That's your measuring stick to the race leader. So they've got their work cut out for him now big time. They got to gain over a second a lap on the race leader to have a chance here. I think the longer Sasek runs, the worse it is for him. And that puts Blake Henderson and Byron Jones and June Jimenez in a pretty good spot right now. I said you need to be over a second faster. Dustin Hall has responded in kind, 2 seconds faster than Josh Susie. He's got to keep it up, though. 20 laps to go. Remember, there's no guarantee that these front runners who did not make the 45, there's no guarantee they can make it to the end. If Dustin Hall continues the pace he is at right now, he gains on Josh Susie in 14 laps. He will get to him before 5 to go. Reason why I'm looking at this, 53.384 for Dustin Hall. Just the last lap. He's gone faster and faster the last 3 laps. Josh Susie, 55.5. And Dustin Hall almost replicated his last lap. Another 53.3. Yeah, he's flying. He is absolutely flying right now. He is fuel saving massively here. He needs to save 3 laps. And that's only going to help Dustin Hall, who does not need to save an ounce. The thing with Dustin Hall is that he's going to have to encounter traffic at some point. There's a lot of traffic. He's 12th. There's 11 cars in front of him. How quickly can he pick off Apperson and Parkhurst and Denny? There's 3 trucks in this conversation together. Just up there are 4 trucks. Right here. Tracy, Jade, Denny, and Parkhurst. Dustin Hall is just here. That's Wesley Worley ahead of him. Not on the same lap. Tag the fence there by Susie. Just a little kiss out of turn 1. But he is still fighting that truck while also having to try to save fuel. It's allowing Henderson, Jones, and Jimenez to close in. Henderson smells blood in the water. He sees a chance to try to go and win this race because he is a lot better than Susie is. But I'm not sure how aware he is that Susie is saving fuel. He's pulled away from Jones. He's pulled away from Jimenez. Is there a race win on the cards? Mira Viscali saying, Susie can't make it, though. We don't think. To kind of fill you in, Josh Susie is a fuel whisperer. He is a guru when it comes to fuel saving. He does unhuman things with a fuel tank. He's a 2-time HTL Cup Series champion for a reason. He has done otherworldly things on strategy to make things happen. So I would not be surprised if there is something up the sleeve of the 81. I don't think he can. But I'm not going to say he can't. That's the last person you want to doubt. It really is. Dustin Hall still 2 seconds faster a lap. This is going to be electric. I can't wait. 15 to go. Tracy is in, but we knew that was going to happen. Couldn't make it. That's one less car for Dustin Hall to deal with on the racetrack. Apperson's probably not going to make this too difficult for him in the turn 3. I don't think Denny will either. They're trying to save. He is full push. Insane run out of turn 4 for Dustin Hall. And Apperson says, take it. I can't stop you. He will lose a little bit of time here. He will not have all the progress in the world. Contact there between Jade and Parkhurst. Heart and throat moment. But they survive. And Hall's progress was slowed there. Susie still leads. Henderson within 3 seconds, though. This group of 3 trying to close in on the race leader and make this a show. while Dustin Hall still rapidly approaches. Dustin Hall within 20 seconds with over 10 to go. He's got a chance. I'm going to say he probably has the best chance right now. But he's got to get through these four up the road, as well as those in front of me. Got to get around Christina Ryan. I don't know how much she's going to hold him up. He's just gotten through that pack of four. What he doesn't want to see right now is a caution. He thinks he can chase down Josh Susie, and I believe him. Three trucks in this group. Malachi Tracy, the 35, not on the lead lap. Went a lap down when pitting. Little loose, Christina Ryan. Tracy in the fence. Tracy trying to find a way around because he knows that he's faster than both, but he's also a lap down and not a lot to gain for the 35 right now. And these two are battling for top 5. Anderson still out in front of this group of 3, battling for second place. Coming to 11 to go. The gap is open back up. A little over 3 seconds now. Once again, is this gap at the front of the field. Dustin Hall, his ability to close in has slowed up a little bit. Sitting in 7th. He's got clean air, thankfully, all the way to Christina Ryan. Malachi Tracy has gotten around both Ryan and Smeal. And if things hold up, Tracy won't ever be a factor for Hall. It'll just be the cars on lead lap. Dustin Hall trying to hustle that one truck around because he knows he's got the catbird seat if he can get there. Henderson under pressure now from Byron Jones and June Jimenez. Battle for second is underway. Henderson stays out in front. Jimenez tries to follow through. 2-on-1. Jones loses out. Jimenez looks to the inside for 3. And this might fare better. We talked about it earlier. It might fare better. Jones in the fence. Henderson trying to hang in there. And Jones is going to help him in, as I think. Nope, going to help Henderson. As they drag race down, they're costing themselves time. If Hall can't get to Susie, he certainly can get to these 3. And they ultimately ended up back where they started in that battle for second place, with Henderson ahead of Jones, ahead of Jimenez. They lost themselves a second for ultimately no gain. Sometimes them's are the breaks. But they're going to start getting more desperate because laps are running down. You are getting closer and closer to the final 5 laps of this race. We're at 8 to go right now. And here we go, almost 3 wide. Jimenez wants a way into the second spot, once on the podium. Henderson stays clear. A caution now flips this race on its head. Henderson out in front in this battle for second place. Hall's pace has slowed significantly. He has fallen off a cliff, now running 55-second laps, still faster than the leader, but no longer, I think, with the same touching distance. I think he's hoping Susie can't save enough. And I don't think these three are saving at all. I don't think these three are saving at all. Christina Ryan gets around Davis Mills Jr. further back. They're drag racing to the line. Ryan to 5th. These two had contact earlier, and they've been with each other ever since. And the 80 now ahead of the 10. And they both slide out of turn 1, tag the fence, and keep it going. Battle for second, battle for 5th, all with 5 to go at the line. The looming question, who can make it on fuel with 5 to go? Susie is saving like his life depends on it. Henderson, Jones, Jimenez, they've been battling this entire stint. Jimenez tags the fence and will lose time to Jones and Henderson. Jones really wants that second spot. He's away from Jimenez enough to try to make that happen. Is he using Henderson to save a little bit of fuel on the straightaways? Dustin Hall is close, but not close enough right now. Got around Davis Mills Jr. Got to close in a couple seconds to Christina Ryan. Should be able to do that. A top 5 is on the cards. Can the top 4 make it to the end? Susie has sacrificed the second. He is really trying to save now. It is dire for the 81. His pace is significantly slowed. Three to go. Down to about 135 in turn 1. He is crawling through the corners right now. If he's able to save and get to the end of the race, this is a masterclass from Josh Susie. And everyone watching, if you're racing, take notes. But can he get there? He's got to do 5 more miles of this. His teammate, Gibney, down pit lane, couldn't do it. Can he do enough to make it to the end of this race? Three seconds ahead of Blake Henderson and Byron Jones. Jimenez in 4th. Ryan in 5th. Dustin Hall in 6th. I am surprised that this group right now have not yet worried about making a pit stop or by saving fuel. And they only pitted a lap away from him. We're coming to the white flag. This is going to be the final lap. 1 lap to go, presented by Henderson Graphics. Susie leads by less than 3 seconds. Can he make it back? Can any of your top 5 make it back? Two and a half seconds of closing. Blood is in the water. Is Susie going to run out of fuel? 2.5 seconds. He's got to make it from here. Henderson ahead of Jones, ahead of Jimenez. This is for the podium at least. This is going to be a wild run to the finish. And we're going to follow it all the way home. Susie will grab the win at the Brickyard, maybe. He'll grab the Brickyard 300. And it's a drag race to the finish. Henderson gets 2nd place. Jimenez gets 3rd. Byron Jones 4th. And they all make it on fuel. Susie by the skin of his teeth. No one else had to significantly save. So the question becomes, did Josh Susie under fuel on that pit stop? Because we saw the battle there between Byron Jones, June Jimenez, and Blake Henderson. They were full push the entire time from lap 43. If he underfueled and made it, that is insane. Absolutely insane. Blake Henderson, a 2nd place, is what the doctor ordered. He was not feeling good going into this race. I'm going to argue this race is his best race in the Challenger Series so far. And Susie's out. Susie's out of fuel. He'll get help by his teammates to the yard of bricks. Henderson is out too. Henderson is out too. He's getting pushed by Alfred Denny and Zach Apperson. So he did run out. Extended the race distance to avoid a fuel save scenario and got one anyway. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Susie will park at the Brickyard. No burnouts for him, I don't believe. Nope. Got enough for 1 burnout. Why not use the fuel to commit the cardinal sin of the Brickyard? Josh Susie victorious here in Indianapolis. Wild race that somehow still became a fuel event. Josh Susie saved just enough. Blake Henderson did too. June Jimenez rounding out the podium tonight ahead of Byron Jones, who had a good race, just missed out on the podium by a couple spots there. Christina Ryan top 5 ahead of Dustin Hall, the pole sitter, on the 2-stop strategy. Was hoping they couldn't make it. In the end, they had just enough. Davis Mills Jr., Eli Sasek, Bobby Blowers, and Alfred Denny round out your top 10 here in Indiana. Zach Apperson 11th, Mark Parkhurst in 12th. And then you look at the rest of the field here. Blue Jade, Malachi Tracy, Kevin Gibney Jr., and Wesley Worley, your finishers. Josh Gaiman and Bailey Thompson, your only DNFs of the 18 trucks in tonight's event. That was absolute insanity. But that was so much fun to follow along with tonight. See if we can talk to any of our podium finishers here. I know Josh Susie and Blake Henderson are available. June Jimenez is in third. Typically, we start in ascending order from third to first. And there is Jimenez available to talk. So we'll go ahead and we'll jump into our podium interviews here tonight. Your top three, Jimenez, Henderson, and Susie in ascending order. Josh Susie, your race winner for the fourth time this season. It should bear no surprise, though, that June Jimenez is once again pretty excellent when it comes to fuel mileage events. Third place tonight for the 11 camp. Walk us through it, though. Wasn't the plan to have fuel mileage. It just sort of fell that way with the only caution of the race tonight happening right at the beginning of that fuel save window. Walk us through it from your perspective, though. That 11 truck had a lot on its hands, especially from lap 43 onwards.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess it's a testament to the speed that we've had this season that I'm disappointed with the third place finish. At least at the speed that we've had at Speedways. I just felt like I was like maybe the third or fourth fastest car after Josh and Dustin. And Dustin made that strategy call, and I was not sure if it was going to work out. He actually was making up a lot of time on us for a lot of that run. But I was just, I think I just maybe overestimated a little bit how much tires would come in at the end. I was hoping that I'd be able to get by Byron and Blake and try to have a shot at Josh. And they fought me really hard. But they fought me really hard because they had the fuel to make it to the end. So like props to them, props to Blake for a really, really strong showing. Like, I don't know, it was a good race, but somehow I'm disappointed to finish P3.
It does start off the chase, though, on the right foot here. A podium here before we head to Nashville, another race where tire conservation is going to be critical there in the concrete jungle of Tennessee. You talk about being disappointed with a third place, Nashville, a place to sort of make up those positions and try to gain some more points there. What's the feeling going into Tennessee next week?
Any speedway, I feel pretty good about. Nashville, I'm not sure. I think it's about middle of the road for me. It's just going to be about execution. All the races that I've gotten a 0x in, I've done really well, and I think this is the worst that I've finished at a speedway since my debut. And all the races where I haven't gotten 0x have gone pretty bad. So it's all about keeping the car clean, and I think we did a good job of that at the end. Ultimately, kept it out of all the chaos and brought it home P3. So next week we'll try to do the same thing and maybe win.
It's going to be a lot of fun to see how the chase plays out from here. A third place, though, not a bad place to be here at the Brickyard. A good step forward in the chase as it begins tonight. Before we let you go and let you debrief and obviously get ready for the next week of races coming up here next week, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. A phenomenal drive, and a podium is still a good place to be. You're in the right company.
Yeah, thank you, Carmen. Just wanted to shout out HTL again for a great race. We only had one caution. Gonna see what it was exactly, but it was exciting. It was great. It was lots of fun racing. I think we had 3 wide for the lead at some point, and that's just the quality racing you get here at HTL, and especially the HTL Challenger Series has been really clean. So shout out to the field, shout out to Blake for a great run, Josh for another great run, Byron for fighting me really hard and almost getting me right at the end for podium, and shout out to you for giving me a seat to try to do some of the same stuff in HTL Cup, and let's see how that goes.
Gonna be a lot of fun to see how next Monday goes. The HTL Brickyard 400 for the 8th time on Monday the 27th. June Jimenez will be there. P3 tonight. Good place to start here at the Brickyard. Momentum is critical here in HTL, and the 11 has all of it. June, congratulations, and we'll see you on Monday.
See you, Carmen.
Fuel strategy, typically not his forte. It happened to be that way tonight. Blake Henderson, we added 13 laps to this race to avoid the fuel strategy extravaganza that we've seen so many times this season. A caution comes out, one of your teammates, and puts us right back in that fuel window, almost on the exact number. We added 13 laps, we restarted in lap 12, and reset everything from there. And you had to work with that from that point forward. Walk us through just sort of battling through that, because again, we've seen this so far this season. You've been close, but not quite there. You were there tonight all the way through.
Yeah, Indy for some reason is one of my better tracks. Honestly, I felt a little deja vu. This is before ABN started broadcasting, but my first HTL win was at Indianapolis, and it was a fuel mileage race. So I was like, oh my God, it's going to happen again, because I was thinking there's no way, if I'm barely getting across the line, like Susie, who pitted a lot before me, wasn't going to make it. But yeah, my fuel calculator kind of lied to me for a good 60 laps there. Because I wasn't saving. I didn't save the first stint, and I didn't really save most of the second stint because my fuel calculator was evident that I was going to have enough. Like, it was, I'd probably run out going into one after the checkers, but like, they were like, you are going to be good. So around like 15 laps to go, I was like, I'm just going to make sure, because something don't feel right. And I went to my like the actual iRacing fuel thing, and that was about like half a lap short. So I was like, oh God, here we go. So I did a little clutch coasting. I just did enough to keep June and Byron behind me. When they would get close or try to make a pass, I would, just not full throttle into the corner, but no clutch coasting into the corner, and that would kind of keep me in it. I actually ran out of 4, like about when you hit pit entry, I ran out of fuel. And June was trying to pass Byron, so Byron was kind of stuck to the top. So I'm like, well, I guess he's going to push me. And sure enough, he pushed me to second while having no fuel in the tank. So kind of sorry, Byron, but also thank you. Cool to be back in a podium position at Indy. I have a love-hate relationship with this track. I think it's a very boring race. I don't really like it in real life with Cup cars, but for some reason, I'm usually pretty decent here. So
momentum is so important in HTL, both in the Challenger Series and in Cup. We're here on Monday in the Cup Series, where we're expecting a little bit more of the same. Maybe, hopefully not the fuel save, but the element of having to deal with the dirty air and having to search and really think about how your passes take place tonight. You talk about being good there. You're a winner of the HTL Brickyard 400. How important is it to have momentum, not just for this series where you're in the chase and now you have a chance to go after a championship here, but to go into Monday knowing you've already done this before and you've got that little bit of strategy in your arsenal of like what to look out for, and adding to the procedure, just double checking to make sure that if you're in this position, you're good to go.
Yeah, mentality is such a big thing on iRacing, and I've kind of preached it in the few podium interviews I get. I don't necessarily practice what I preach a lot of the time. I'm a big head case in the car. Christina really kind of craps on me for it. But yeah, I'll be on, and you know it. We talked before the race, and I really wasn't in a good headspace going into this race. I have had a streak of just bad races in Cup and Challenger. So I was just very miffed going into this one. But this is definitely a confidence boost. It did help that I don't think I was the worst on pace either. I really do feel like I got better as the run went on. I'm a little worried for next Monday. From everything I've been told, specifically like by Dustin and others, and seeing videos that I'm not trying to burst the bubble of the broadcast, but I have heard it's going to be worse. The dirty air and the training is going to be worse on Monday. So we'll hope we can get some exciting racing. I'm hoping we can pass on the bottom in Cup cars because I don't know if you could tell on the broadcast, you just could not pass on the preferred line here. It was very irritating. The only way to pass was just peek and hope you could grab their quarter panel, the right quarter panel, and pass on the outside. It was a very irritating way to run. But yeah, mentally, like, this was needed. I really wanted a good race. Wasn't sure I was going to get it, but hey, kind of fell into my lap, and I hope for the best.
It worked out in an incredible way. Stage points tonight on top of finishing second place helps you significantly in the points as far as this goes. You talk about it, you kind of written yourself off going into this race. Now you're 100% back into it. Nashville, Miami, and Michigan, not quite in that order. Three big it's the gauntlet races coming up here for the Challenger Series. We know how wild Michigan can be. We know Miami's not quite your forte in the Cup cars. Nashville lies in the middle. What's the feeling going into that? Now that you know that you've got a chance to talk about mentality being an aspect, you're now in the thick of it.
I mean, I don't know if I have a chance. Like, we're certainly in there. Just based off of Sim Racer Hub, I've jumped to third in points, which is awesome, but I'm still 41 points behind Susie in first, so I'm not sure how much of a chance I have. I haven't really raced many in Nashville. It's just, I'm kind of meh there. It's all right. I do like Michigan a lot. It is more of a drafty track, and it's a very aggressive drafty track, and I feel like usually I make my way towards the front at least once or twice in Michigan races, but we all know what can happen there. You could just wreck. The last league race I ran at Michigan in the trucks, I led like 3/4 of it, so that was nice, although I don't think they're quite to the caliber of this one. But Miami, obviously I have my issues with that track. But I don't know if I'm really aiming for a championship. If I get it, it's nice. I'm more focused on Cup, obviously. But we'll just have to see. We're in a better position than we thought we'd be. I didn't really think being top 5 in points was something I could attain to after how far back I was after the reset. But we'll just see. I really don't know how Nashville's going to go. And depending on how Nashville goes next week, I think it's next week, we'll see how we feel. I have a feeling Susie's just going to win that one too. So
we heard the song and dance before. After you won Bristol, you're just like, let's go one race at a time. You end up leading the points with 2 races to go in Cup last season. So we'll see how things play out with 3 races to go tonight. Before we let you go and let you obviously get ready for the race in Indianapolis on Monday, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Phenomenal job. And as always, great to see you on the podium here in HTL.
Thank you, Carmen. I got to thank Team Conti Sim Performance. They don't give us setups for this, but they're a really great teaching tool. Coley Hockman Productions, Blankenship Freight Lines. If you want a halfway mediocre paint, hit me up. So you have the QR code on the screen, so just scan that if you want a decent looking paint. Thank everyone who runs tonight. Dustin, Christina, Alfred, Bailey, Zach. It was nice to have Bailey and Zach in the chat on a Tuesday. It's always fun to have them around. But yeah, we'll just see how she goes on Monday.
Blake Henderson, successful at the Brickyard once again, still missing out on that Truck Series race win, but a former Brickyard 400 winner. He'll try to do the same on Monday. A podium tonight, a good step forward. Blake, congratulations, and we'll talk to you in 6 days.
Thank you, Carmen.
A phenomenal job for Blake Henderson as he finished second place tonight. Man of the hour, Josh Susie, points leader by a decent margin. Stage win plus the race win. Fuel save was key. Somehow, some way, we end up back in the fuel save strategy, but it's back in your wheelhouse. We had some doubters watching live, watching on YouTube and Patreon. Didn't think you could do it. I told him you were a 2-time Cup Series champion for a reason. This was a masterclass. Walk us through it in the 81 cam.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Man, this truck does really not run good here. I don't know what the combo was, but you were at such advantage being in the lead. And then the further back you got in the pack, the worse it was. So I saw how that first run played out. Got stuck behind June. Was faster, I felt like, but when I'd make a move, I'd lose all my side force and get side drafted. That's still killer in these things. And it would just kill you in the corner. You couldn't get up off the corner and complete the pass. So that was a real quick lesson learned. We were just letting Dustin check out. I was finally able to come out third on the only caution we had. Christina took 2 had to battle super hard to get the lead. And then once I got the lead, it was just kind of plows down for a while. And I figured at that point it was just going to be between me and Dustin. I didn't think fuel mileage was even going to be part of the equation. And we were getting closer to the stage time. And Smeal had mentioned, in voice chat, I think I might be able to one-stop this. I was like, there's no way. Like, look at numbers and practice and everything. I was like, no. And I was like, it's kind of close. I got the lead. I had some room to play with over Dustin, so I started just kind of backing up my corners a little bit. And that was honestly the difference, me being able to go on lap 42 instead of running it full out. And it really threw me off when Dustin short pitted like he did. I guess he had a brain fart, thought the stage was on 30 or something. And I think he pit on 32.
Yep.
So that threw me for a loop. And I was like, okay, so he's thinking we can't make it on fuel either. That would have been the play if people weren't able to make it, disregarding not getting stage points for that. But yeah, just kind of full committed at that point. Thank God I was able to get to 42. Shocked the hell out of me when I saw Blake, June, and Byron go an extra lap. But then I was like, well, I was leading. They were stuck in traffic, a lot less throttle time. They were able to get an extra lap out of it. Came out of the pit cycle. I saw June immediately drop back 2 spots, and I was like, okay, I know what they're doing. They're going to really hardcore save here, use the draft to their advantage, and 10 to go. They're going to plow down and just come like a freight train. So I was like, I got to do the best I can. I had a set fuel burn number I was looking for, and that correlated to kind of a lap time. It was tricky at the end of the race because the track kept cooling off, so it gave you more grip. It was harder to save just because you had that availability to really put the throttle down, which I think in a way kind of helped me because it let Blake and them run a little harder, burn a little more fuel. I think Blake said he ran out coming to the line, so they burned an entire, lap more than I did. But yeah, just trying to navigate that, hit my set time, be super consistent. And they got to racing a little bit. It cost them probably a second and a half at one point. Dropped them back over 4 seconds back behind me again. And I was like, man, I might just have this. I know how hard it is to pass. They're going to get, they might not think I can make it. So they're probably thinking they're just racing each other, and, it all added up. I was able to do everything I was able to do to be able to make it. And, yeah, that was an on-the-fly call. Appreciate Smeal calling that out because I wasn't paying attention to it at all. Usually I'm on top of those things, but he kind of saved my bacon tonight. And I appreciate Kevin giving me a push around after the checkers so I can do a little mini burnout here.
Points leader by 39 points with 3 races to go. Nashville is going to be another tire-saving extravaganza at least, with that concrete jungle coming up, and then Michigan going to be a pretty wild race as well. What's the feeling going into that? Obviously, 4 race wins this season. You stand alone in that category, but now the pressure is really on tonight.
Yeah, it's good to be in the position I'm in, obviously. It puts more pressure on everyone behind me to try to really maximize their races and not have any mistakes. So obviously it's a great position to be in to have that 39 points, I think you said. That's wild. I mean, what was it coming into tonight? 13. So
yeah,
gained 26 points in one race through stage win and the victory. That's about all you could do. We got 3 more, so I guess I got 3 races not to blow 39 points.
3 races to go. Nashville, Michigan, and Miami. The next 3 weeks are going to be a lot of fun to follow along with. Before we let you go and let you enjoy the race win and the points lead in the chase, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. 4th race win this season and a points lead that everyone now has to try to close in over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, thank everyone at Triple S Racing. Unfortunately, Gaiman ran into some bad luck, and I think Kevin said he ended up smacking the wall, so that really killed his arrow. Smeal's trying to hang tough, got a top 10. Appreciate the 18 trucks that showed up tonight. Hello Kitty for being on the truck. Everyone at TWRS Setups, everyone in the league putting this product on. I mean, that's another race with only one caution. I don't know what the streak is between either going caution free and only having one caution, but it's pretty damn impressive if you ask me. We've talked about it before, quality over quantity, and I'll stand by that. I want to thank you for the broadcast. You always do a hell of a job. I can't wait to see what you were theorizing up in the booth, and thank the wife and the kiddos who they should be asleep, and we'll go check in on them, and we'll try to talk to you again next week. Keep this momentum going.
A very big key indicator there. First race win in over a month for Josh Soucy, but back to victory lane at a place more hollowed than any other. Indianapolis belongs to Josh Soucy tonight. Josh, congratulations, and hopefully we do talk to you in Nashville next week.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Carmen.
That was Josh Soucy, your race winner here tonight. An outstanding job for the 81 crew. And they now lead 39 points over June Jimenez and Blake Anderson in third, 41 points adrift with 3 races to go in the campaign. We're glad you joined us. Join us again on Thursday for the Crown Athletics IndyCar Series from Twin Ring Motegi over in Japan. First time we broadcasted in Japan in almost 3 years. The ABN Anniversary Week continues here on YouTube and on Patreon. On behalf of everyone here for HTL and the Challenger Series and everyone here at ABN Studios, I'm Carmen Sienna. Thank you so much. We'll see you in Japan. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy. So long, everybody.